Heikki, I would like to ask you a few things about European working process and American working process, which I guess, you learned from being in contact and doing some American movies in Finland. And but first, I would like to introduce you, and probably you introduce yourself. So, you started as a Foley artist in Finland with your own company about 20 something years ago, 25 years ago, I don't know,
Yep,
maybe
22 years
around
ago.
that.
Yeah, I started in a really small office room, 2000 in Helsinki. Like
Okay.
it was 9 square meters. I think it was about the same size of room like this one, and it was middle of other offices. Just they were doing something else, not film sound or anything related with films, and I was like a kind of strange bird, middle of those people, and no isolation, no, just tried to put some mattresses on corners and trying to, I'm totally self-learned as well, so I tried to listen what I'm doing, and I was editing my Foley also that time. So that's really good way to learn when you edit your own Foley and you realized, oh shit, I should have done this like this. Oh, this is working. Let's do it again. And but then those first 4 or 5 years, I was in the beginning I was working with animation TV show, which was really good because it was coming out weekly, and I was able to start building my routine to work as a Foley artist. But same time, the first 4 or 5 years, I was doing different things from sound, like booming, or working as a production mixer or sound editing, and also did some sound design for different couple of documentaries. And then I moved away from Helsinki 2005 to Kokkola in the west coast of Finland, and that was place where there was no other film industry at all. And I was really afraid what's going to happen with me, because everybody was thinking about, okay, this guy now he's going to work as a teacher in some small media school, and he's done, and so that has happened for some persons. But I felt that I wanted to concentrate only on Foley, which I felt that it wasn't very easy in Helsinki, because there was coming different parts of the work. There was Foley, there was sound editing, there was booming, and which was also good to know and learn about what's happening from the very beginning of filmmaking to the end final mix. And but I also felt that I want to concentrate on Foley, and that was one reason why we moved with my family that time to this small city Kokkola. Like there was 50,000 people living there, and then first few years I was just working in a old country school, and it was middle of nowhere, middle of forest. But still, when there was windy time, the metal roof was rattling like it felt like there's a war going outside. But and then I also noticed that the work and the projects comes to me even I'm out from Helsinki, and I was able to start thinking about it. Okay, what about if I build a proper Foley studio? And then I found a really nice place from the middle of heavy industrial area. You really solid house made by tiles, really strong walls, and I built a studio there with good floating rooms and etc. And some point I also started to use those corridors and hallways for natural reverb, and I think that has been pretty big bonus during the years, because there's many studios, as we both know, which are located in the middle of city, and you are not able to use that kind of rooms. Even I was in the middle of industrial area, and there was there was also some rumble coming up from industry, but I started also doing Foley that time a lot of more louder, and it was possible to hear some background noise, but I didn't care. I just, okay, it works. And it was easy to cut a little bit with EQ afterwards if needed, but mostly we didn't cut hardly anything. Yeah, so I spent 15 years in that studio in heavy in this industrial area of Kokkola, and during that time I met Danish supervisor Peter Albrechtsen, and we had some kind of aesthetics which were really pretty much similar, and we started to work together a lot. And then there was one Danish production where Peter invited Tim Nielsen to do the final mix in Copenhagen, and Tim Nielsen, he's working at the Skywalker Ranch. And after that project, Tim asked me to work with the Little Prince, and after that, I think that was one of the. They told me that it was first project the Foley Skywalker project came outside from the house, and so after that I've been working like once a year. That happened 2015 or 16, and after that I've been working like once or twice in a year for some Skywalker projects, and maybe that's also the kind of small steps to where I'm now.
Yes, it
So
sounds
yeah.
pretty. It actually sounds pretty much like a normal career, like starting in a small room. But what you said when you came to Kokkola, you began to work louder. I think this is what's happening. Not only after you're getting experience, but also if you have the right room around you. If you have
Yeah,
space around you. If the room is too small, then you start do small things. But if you have kind of a natural surrounding, then the sound can what is it, evolve or get bigger, and then you start doing bigger sounds and use your floors and your hallways. I think this is pretty nice, pretty good idea.
yeah, of course, when you start doing Foley louder and you put the microphone more far away, that means also that there's a huge demand of the room as well, because when you are doing louder, it also makes the sound be more lively, and there's reflections coming up, etc. It can be good reflections, but also bad ones, and maybe biggest reason was that I visited in New York, and I saw C5 Foley artist Marco Costanzo working, and his microphone was pretty far away, and when I came back to Finland, I moved my microphone like 2 or 3 meters more distance, and I think it's also related with the thing that it's when you're playing like an instrument, let's say acoustic guitar, if you play it really loudly, you make the guitar sound better. You know, the sound opens, it starts ringing, but of course there's moments that we need to be really small and really fragile and sensitive, but it's also about performance. When you do it loudly, you are kind of open as a person. Your presence is more open, and you are. It's more like a dancing to get relaxed and make your body move. And because our work is really physical, more you are able to put your body work into it, and I think it makes the sound better. So. But I would like to also comment about this starting from the small room, because not everybody is starting from their own room. There's people, as we both know, that you are going from the very beginning as a trainee or for internship for studio, and they have never seen what is to be when you start the studio from the scratch. And I think it's the hard way to start from nothing. It's definitely the hard way, but it's also good way and especially if you are editing your Foley as well, and maybe doing a Foley premix. It's the hard way, but you need to find the answers how it works. You are not able to, because I didn't. There was nobody in Finland that time, after 2000, who made Foley. Most of the Foley came from Germany or from Sweden or maybe from Russia, and so it was just finding my way, finding my answers, and it's good way and hard way. It's good that you need to go and find the answers, and somebody might give up or some. I felt like I just want to know more, and I still feel that I have the feeling that I want to know more, and but it's almost like clicking by mouse the plugins on a computer, which don't have the physical kind of feeling. I felt that for younger generation sometimes it's hard to understand the physicality of sound. So there's a lot of this kind of thinking going behind. I hope you you get something out of this.
Yes, sure. I understand. It's what you say with the younger generation and the physical. I realized that a lot of things are the youngest are doing in the computer. So you used your natural room and try to build the sound before it goes into the computer, maybe with a machine with a knob and an outboard equipment. But nowadays the sound goes into the computer and everything is processed afterwards. So there's a reverb, a digital reverb. There's a declicking coming on top, and there's whatever coming on top, which doesn't make it better. So it can help sometimes.
Yeah.
It's okay to have like a annoying clicking or something, but I would actually still edit this with my mouse.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. I'm doing the same. I'm not using.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm using EQ maybe just to, if there is just too much. And normally I'm doing it when I'm doing the premix from Foley, so that if I notice that okay, there is so much other sound coming from effects or music that you can't hear Foley if there's, for example, too much low end, or maybe I'm doing some more like a special things to make some almost like a FX Foley, to kind of so that I'm able to integrate that sound with sound effects. But I'm doing that with premix. When I'm edit, I just edit, and I take all the clicks away by my hand.
Yes.
So I think it's also something that recording some Foley, so that if you recognize in the beginning of recording that there's a lot of clicks, I think you should definitely stop and check out what is making the click. Of course, there is something. But if there's some really much, then you need to just stop and check out what is making the harmful click.
Yes.
But actually, it's good that you mentioned that, because one big thing with Foley is that we need to be organic.
Yes.
And it needs to be a real performance, and that's why we are doing Foley. If it's something that you just go through a lot of plugins and it doesn't feel Foley anymore.
Exactly.
And this is and it's really hard to go back if you are doing too much processing. It sounds totally different. Yeah.
Yes, and another question. I wonder. I think when you started in Helsinki in the small room, I guess did you record yourself, or did you have someone to record? And did you use headphones? I know some are using headphones while working. I don't like that. It's probably the same again. So it needs to. I need to get the room answer, the natural surrounding. And if I have a headphone, then the let's say the sound coming back is too loud and I'm getting smaller and smaller, or is it too less loud, then I'm getting bigger and bigger, and I don't have a feeling for what I'm doing. So I'm not using headphones at all.
Yeah, I'm not. I am not using headphones. Only thing when I'm using headphones, if I need to listen some rhythmic or maybe dance music for dance foley, or if I'm doing, let's say, some background sounds for maybe house creaking, and there is a, let's say, there's a wind on FX. I just want to hear the rhythm of wind. I'm not doing exactly the same time the creak. It's more like I'm jamming with the background.
Yeah.
But I don't want to use headphones. Only with special cases, or maybe using hydrophones or contact mics. That's the place where I need to use headphones. But no, even when I was booming on a set, I never used headphones.
Okay.
I didn't, because when you, yeah, so it's I think it's really important to, like you said, to hear the acoustic sound, the real sound, and trying to build that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
when I was I was interested in people who can't hear, and they are having earplugs or whatever you call that. And that was when I found out that there are different headphones which are going to the bone and not on the ears. And that was when I bought some of those. So when I'm using headphones for the same reason like you do, like rhythm reason and yeah, conversation with the rest of the sound, this is pretty nice. I can still hear me and myself and my work in the room, but I can hear what is there to hear, the production or the music or whatever. And that's pretty nice, I must say. So if you don't know that, you should
You
definitely.
need you need to send me the link for those. It sounds really interesting.
But it's Bluetooth connected and it's a little bit delayed, but it doesn't matter. So you can just move. So, and yeah, of course, if you are out of the Bluetooth signal, then it's probably breaks down.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you don't have the cables. I will send
Mm.
you a link. Yes, I will do that.
Thanks.
Yes. Um, Another thing. I remember you mentioned that you started sitting earlier times when you did the steps. What is your experience with standing and
Yeah.
sitting?
I in the beginning when I was doing my internship in Helsinki, 99 or 2000, I saw one Finnish guy who was a sound editor, sound designer, but he turned to more doing film editing, and he's the first one I saw half a day doing Foley in Finland, and he was sitting down, and so I was thinking, okay, this is the way how you need to do it. And in the then I had my own first studio, and of course my pits, they were really small. Like for the concrete, I had this size of flagstone to use, and it was really hard to even think about doing feet standing, because it was so tricky to stay on that small area. And then actually maybe 2000, end of 2007, 2008, well, in Kokkola I already started to do by standing, but then when I built my proper studio, I had a little bit bigger pits, and it was easier to stand and move same time. And I nowadays even sometimes I might do feet for sitting down, but that's only when I'm doing, let's say, backgrounds and I'm doing several persons in the same time. That's the only way I'm using the doing still, or some animals might be so that I'm doing as a for example horses I might do with my feet.
Exactly.
and and at the same time sitting down, but not for normal character in live action movie. I'm not sitting anymore, and the thing why I started to sit down, of course, I saw this one guy, but he has shown this German foley artist Kramsky.
Yes.
I think you know him, and I remember later on I saw this video they made in Finnish film studio when he came with his suitcases and did some foley. They called him Suitcase Man, and he made same time several things, not just the feet. And he's explained that it's easy when you sit down and you are able to control. At the same time, you can do some duck, 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 and you can do some other sound same time. And that was the reason why he was sitting down. But later on, I have also felt that you are able to, like I said before, when you are standing, you are able to be more physical. You are able to move your body, and it comes more. And I feel you are able to put more weight on the steps.
And
And
and it's no
yeah,
more need. It's actually no more need to do everything at the same time.
yeah,
Beside probably the time schedule you have, and I think that was the basic idea, as you said, that you have to you are able to do every kind of everything at the same time. I was in Munich 1996, 97. I was just an intern at that time too. And I saw a Kramsky demonstration for the film Das Boot. So there was a scene where everyone was running through this what is it called? Submarine. Um, and he was doing, yeah, he was just doing everything in just one track. So it felt like wow. And that's actually what we are still dealing with. If people see, oh, you're a Foley artist, can you do this, or can you demonstrate a little bit? And everyone wants to hear the wow effect. But we are working differently now. We do this layering up. We have the tracks to build up every sound, and there is actually the wow effect comes maybe after the editing, or maybe a little bit
yeah.
earlier.
I when I started, I did several things same time, like a character person is coming to kitchen, taking stuff away from plates and everything away from table, putting them to this table to basin and start washing them. I might be that I did all the steps, all the plates, everything on one track in the beginning, and then I felt like it was, if you can't do it, you are bad. You are bad Foley artist if you cannot do it, and I felt like that in the beginning, but then then some point, especially when I did the editing by myself, and I noticed, okay, it's not very good thing to have this kind of things together on the same track, because we have a close-ups, we have wide shots, and we want to be able to change perspectives, and if we have everything on the same track, it's really difficult. So that's one reason. But I think what is still the same, because I don't know how is it in Germany, but in Finland, I felt that not many years ago there were still people who thinks that for big movies they are just doing everything, but it's not like that, because every movie, even the biggest ones, they are always saying to me that don't do anything we are not